We're going to go now to France and hear from Marie Josèphe Devillers. She's Vice President of CQFD, Lesbian Feminists France, and also ICASM, International Coalition for the Abolition of Surrogate Motherhood, and also a member of NOUES, WHRC France, and is going to talk to us about a range of different things. So thank you so much.
What's new in France? And in the country where I live in? We are now facing something very, very nasty, very dangerous. We have a draft law aiming at banning the so-called conversion therapy, which in fact is nothing but therapy. In our French penal code, there are already provisions to condemn these practices concerning homosexuality, but they also address gender identity. Thanks to our Canadian friends, we know exactly what they are up to, as this type of law is already in force in Canada. They are going to ban any exploratory therapies in favor of affirmative therapy, which do not investigate in the reasons of the suffering of minors in gender dysphoria. We are also facing an attempt to set up a parliament's position on the transgender issue. This position is in line with the Yogyakarta principles. It says that a simple affidavit or sworn statement will allow anybody to change one's civil status. This position also requires education, health, jobs, prisons to be trans-inclusive. How are we going to deal with that? We started campaigning in July towards national and local people, writing letters, sending them informations, asking to meet them or to be heard in the parliament. So far, we met with one woman MP who is on our line, but she doesn't know nothing on this issue. She said that, and she was very happy to meet us to know more about that, because she felt she didn't agree with it, but she had no arguments. Also, one of us managed to change a local MP's mind. He withdrew his support to the motion, which is quite great. What else are we doing as a new FEMME group contact of WHRC in France? Here you have our action teams that we have set up. We have action towards public opinion, writing articles, designing short videos and podcasts on peak trans. We have action to increase the WHRC front, organizing the French-speaking webinars. We have action to support our members, our own members, providing them with lawyers counseling in case of harassment. And also we are planning to organize a support group. And also we have action towards political peoples, as I said. And of course, we are supporting the French lesbian group called Resistance Lesbian, that you might have heard of. About the Zoom, the French-speaking webinars that we organize once a month. Here are the previous ones. They are all available on the WHRC YouTube channel, on the playlist, which is mentioned down there. The first one was on the declaration, of course. The second on the laws on gender identity in France, Switzerland, Andorra, Quebec. The third on 5 lesbian organizations being under attack for their position on gender identity. They are Le Sel in Marseille, 44 Vilaines Filles in Nantes, Arci Lesbica also in Italy, Bagdam Lesbian Space in Toulouse, and El Tour in Belgium. The first was on transition, detransition, with Post-Trans, Belgium, and Detrans, Canada. The last one was so interesting, with Valérie Pelletier. She's from Canada, from Quebec, and she was fired for a position on gender identity. And this position, the position she took them outside of a job, but she was fired. She's now filing a case against employer. And here, down there are the new topics that we're going to deal with. And to conclude, here, what we have learned so far. We think that drafting principles to counter Yogyakarta principles would be of great help. It would be complementary to the Declaration on Women's Sex-Based Rights. For example, in the draft law I mentioned, they quoted the Yogyakarta principle. We would be able, if we had our own principle, we would have been able to say, if you quote the Yogyakarta principle, you have to quote also our principles. We also think that it would be at one point important to create a special fund to defend those who are attacked like Valérie Pelletier. Thanks for your attention.